Blood is supposed to mean loyalty, but sometimes blood is the sharpest knife. When my grandfather passed, he left me everything: the estate in Connecticut, 3 apartment buildings, a collection of rare paintings, and a trust fund worth millions. He was old school, stubborn, and he always said, "The one who respects hard work deserves the reward." I thought my parents would support his decision, but I was wrong. The night after the will was read, my mother sat across from me in the living room. Her eyes were cold, her voice sharper than I'd ever heard. "That inheritance doesn't belong to you. It belongs to us. Hand it over." I blinked, shocked. It was Grandpa's choice. He trusted me with it. But my father leaned forward, his jaw tight. "You're too young, too reckless. We built this family. You don't get to walk away with everything while we get scraps." The argument exploded. Years of hidden resentment poured out. They accused me of being spoiled, ungrateful, unworthy. My mother even spat out, "We should have been the ones in that will, not you." That night, I realized something brutal. My parents didn't see me as their child anymore. They saw me as a vault. At first, I tried to compromise. I offered them a generous monthly allowance. Enough for a luxury lifestyle, travel, anything they wanted. But they laughed in my face. "We want control of it all." That's when I stopped negotiating. What they didn't know was that my grandfather had prepared me for this. For years, he taught me about trusts, shell corporations, and asset protection. Long before he passed, we had already transferred the most valuable holdings into structures only I could manage. So while my parents filed lawsuits, claimed I was mentally unfit, and dragged my name through every courtroom they could find, all they were fighting for was an empty shell. The estate they thought was mine to surrender, already in an irrevocable trust. The apartments, owned by a holding company in Delaware. The art, on loan to museums under contracts they couldn't touch. But I didn't stop there. When they tried to smear me in the press, I released recordings. Recordings of them demanding money, threatening to ruin me if I didn't comply. Suddenly, their credibility crumbled. The same social circles they wanted to impress turned their backs. By the time the final lawsuit ended, the judge dismissed their claims with one brutal line: "Parents do not have a legal right to steal their child's inheritance." They walked out of court pale, humiliated, with legal fees that bled them dry. And me? I didn't celebrate. I didn't gloat. I simply went back to my grandfather's library, sat in his leather chair, and whispered, "You were right, Grandpa. Family doesn't always mean loyalty." Now, I've dedicated a portion of that inheritance to a foundation supporting kids betrayed by their own parents. Because betrayal from strangers hurts. But betrayal from the people who raised you? That scars forever. So remember this: trust is earned, not guaranteed by blood. And when family becomes greedier than enemies, you'd better be ready to protect yourself. If this story shook you, hit subscribe now. Because the next tale of betrayal I share might sound even closer to home. Stay ruthless. Stay untouchable.